Hello and welcome to Darius Comic School, and today we take a look at Head Lopper again, but kind of part 2, and we talk also about future reviews. Mike Mignola's Dracula, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I guess this is Jim Steranko, and maybe I should also review this Mighty Thor from Walter Simonson. I love Walter Simonson. And yeah, kind of old stuff, but I don't know. That's where my roots are. This is where I take the strength to make the stuff I want to do. And if you're new to the channel, this is Darius Comic School. The idea was that I teach what I know and tell you things about my journey to become a comic artist that can make a living from it. Right now, I'm a freelance artist, 39 years old. I show you up there. I make comics and also paintings and other commissions, but not necessarily quite there, and that's because, like, if you're spreading your interests in different directions, like painting pictures, doing commissions, learning to write a comic, learning to draw, learning to ink, those are different skills. So in the comic school, we'll try to show you what skills you need, or I will show you what skills you need, and so you can master each and every one to the degree that you need it. And I didn't have a comic school. I would have gladly gone to the Andy Kubert school to New York, but then I kind of attended movie school. And in movie school, with my professors, we watched a lot of movies and TV shows and analyzed them. And there we watched, for example, like great movies, documentaries. We had sound design, editing, cutting. So similar things will be here. Let's see, like if you take a Thor, like this would be a cover, very important. What's on the cover? Can you see? Like, I mean, this is just a coincidence. I picked these two just randomly, but can you spot similarities? And I would say here, composition-wise, the answer is yes. Let's see. Are there similarities here? Similarities here? Coincidentally, yes, they are. Can you see that? Like, pretty crazy stuff. Are there similarities here? Probably not. But it is kind of a great cover and a bad cover at the same time. But yeah, and then once we look into the comic, you will see that the third dimensional space always, like, this is flat, and this might be also a bit flat, but always, if you watch a movie, I was watching, I was watching yesterday night The Patriot with Mel Gibson, or when I watch The Walking Dead, like the camera angle goes always into this. It tries always to create space, and it creates space, foreground, midground, and background. Can you see? And then there's something here in the foreground that takes up the picture. And so you have here Robert De Niro, and you have here Al Pacino. And then they're talking, and then the camera flips, and then, you know what I mean? So sorry, my voice is giving in. And also there's always a color palette, which we will best see, I think, in something like this, where I'm convinced on the previous side there's just a different color. So let's see. Yeah, a completely different color palette. So here it's greens and reds, and here it's more yellow and purple, and here a red when he gets aggressive, and then he gets quiet again, and the yellow is a bit more dimmed, and as you can see here, the camera angle always tries to give the panel depth, and yeah. And that's what we will discuss. But yeah, let's put this aside. We will come to these in a while. When I started out my channel, I did a review on HEAD LOPPER, but it's been a while, and I think the quality of my video and camera and setup, and also my English speaking skills have improved a bit. I'm an Italian that was born and raised here in Germany, so let me tell you about HEAD LOPPER 1 and HEAD LOPPER 2. I don't know if the camera needs, let me see, if I should make it a bit more darker. Let's try this one out. Okay, so HEAD LOPPER by Andrew McLEAN. I love the artwork and the color here with Jordi Belair and the Crimson Tower. I think the cover for this one, I don't know where it is, but it had a different cover. I think this is the album. As you can see, pretty thick issues. The first one pretty thick. I don't know how many pages these are, but the first story is definitely an epic tale in the likes of Game of Thrones, and I don't mind because it's awesome. So let me give you an introduction and a ride through HEAD LOPPER. Again, I have an older review. Maybe you will check it out here. But yeah, HEAD LOPPER by Andrew McLEAN. I hope the colors come out good. Let me brighten this up a bit. So I think he has a bit of a Mike Mignola-esque art style, which is great. Simplicity is very great. I was gone for, let's say, a month on this channel because I have to do things for my family and different friend and work related stuff. And so I wrote down this: try to keep your life simple and concentrate on your joy, health, wealth, social life, plans and dreams. I would say try to trim the fat from everything, and doesn't mean your life should get dull or lifeless. Like, as you can see, I'm into watches and I'm into miniatures and I'm into colors, as you can see here, and commissions. So you cannot cut away parts that belong to you or here. Like, I'm pretty into bold action and I like werewolves. So you need to know who you are and what you are. And once you have that, you do just that. And then sometimes things go away, or need to sleep a bit, or sometimes things change, but then sometimes things reappear in a better way. Well, life sometimes is mysterious, sometimes it's not. So, same for HEAD LOPPER. And yes, it's a bit of Mike Mignola meets Adventure Time, and I like it very, very much. I wouldn't say that it is simple or easy to make it reduced, but there is definitely beauty in simplicity. And it's also maybe a bit more economic, and you can handle it, and you can put out more stories. I have right here next to me my Hellboy collection, right here, right there. I won't grab it right now, but Mike Mignola and Frank Miller and Andrew McLEAN, they do a bunch of stories, and they do good stories, and the artwork is really good, and it suits the style of telling long stories. They don't get gassed out. I mean, this is not a David Finch story, or who would draw like very, very like Mark Silvestri. You know what I mean? Like they are you know what I mean? I mean, this is a bit more economic, also like the coloring style, and it lends itself to tell stories. And I myself am also more in this direction, like into storytelling, into keeping things a bit more simple, being colorful, playful. So this is why probably these are my favorite comics. But if you like other stuff. That's totally okay. And then you know that those things you really like, the things you really adore, that is what wants to grow out of you. So I think your heroes and the things you aspire to lead the way to the person or to the artist you want to become. So after 10 minutes of rambling, let's take a look inside the book. So I will give you just a quick overview, and I hope the lighting is good, but I will take you roughly to both, and we'll just take a look at beautiful things. So beautifully, like the book, the presentation, how it starts, this is really beautiful. And if you want to do a comic, like I was watching something last night, and I assume you know Daft Punk, or if not, they're musicians. They make electronic music. Both are Frenchmen, and their music is very original and very cool. But it showed that they sampled a lot. Like some songs they took or remixed or created are like 80 or 90% a carbon copy from something that existed 30 years earlier. So that's totally fine. Stand on the shoulder of giants, which means you can steal, but they must be dead. Or something like that. But you will notice that stealing is also kind of learning. That's how you learn. That's how you practice. And once you have found that you can stand on your own 2 feet and you have assimilated the knowledge of your heroes, you will start to create your own stuff. And yeah, here it starts on Bara beautifully. Like I like this, like chapter 1, the island of Bara, and then you have here some islands, some serpents. I hope you can see it. I won't. I zoom in a bit. As you can see, this is beautiful. I like these maps. A bit like a Game of Thrones, like yeah, it's a great introduction page. You already know that this is a place, a realm of, it's a medieval time, or it's a time of the Northmen, that there are castles, that there are sea monsters, that there are castle base, and you are here. And that's where we start. And let me zoom out. And it's pretty simple. I would even say underwhelming. First page, very underwhelming. But it's okay. You can also start quiet. And then we have here, and I mean, I guess this was the intentions. And then we see here the swoosh, and then here's the city, and a slow start, and then we're on this ship, or this bird brings us to the ship, and then on the ship, a monster shows up, and our hero, I think his name is Norgal, shows up, and this monster is about to swallow the ship or to sink it, and here it roars, like pretty cool. I think the style changes a bit, and it evolves and it grows, and HEAD LOPPER takes on the challenge. I like this very much. Like, look at this. And yeah, you got me here. Like, this is awesome. Like, sign me up. Vikings, barbarians, wrestlers. I'm a male, I'm a man. That's what I like. Like, the more I age, the more I like fighting, wrestlers. I mean, I always did, but the more I accept that's who I am. A stumbling guy who likes monsters, battles, overcoming obstacles, badassery, war, also peace, justice, the right values, and more. And so Norgal fights this great monster, and it's kept here pretty simple. In the first page, I wish I could. Can I get it up here? Let me see if I can put this on a few books. so that we can enjoy the whole thing from up here. I think this will be better. Yeah, this could work. It's not super, but it works. Okay, so now we're a bit further away, but we get the whole page. And yeah, he fights this beast. And great page, like he lops off the head, and then the creature's blood just colors the whole sea. And Norgal gets paid by these people, but these people, like a cleric and his people, or his entourage, like they are strange people. And I don't know, they're kind of like they have the city or the town or this land in their hands. But Norgal again is a hero that's just looking out for himself, and he has a mystery. Like it's kind of the story of a stranger comes to town and cleans up the corruption there, and it's the same here. And I love it. Like it works all the time. So if you need a premise for your story, a stranger comes to town. He's a total badass. He loves justice, but he's also a prick. He only cares for himself. But then the people of the town somehow remind him of something. He helps out the town folks. He goes to all the boss monsters, and he brings back justice to the land. Beautiful, beautiful, just beautiful, because that's also the story of what we're doing here in life, seeing what doesn't work and bringing justice, balance, order, beauty, strengths, and all of that stuff back to it. And he has this strange head with him, and it's the head of Agatha, the witch. And the good thing is that witchcraft is at work at the swamp. Look at this, like really beautifully drawn. And we don't know what has cursed these lands, but Norgal is a hardened warrior, and he himself has a magical creature with him. And now we can see that he travels from here to here to Castle Aberdeen. And this is beautifully. And then we start at Castle Aberdeen, and there's a queen, and there are some shady figures and a court and some intrigues and the clerics. And Norgal shows up and gets his first mission to do something. I don't know really what it is, but the story in this one is really deep. It has a beautiful element of something like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. It really tries. It is ambitious. For me, it didn't quite work because like I've seen it too many times. But it's a really cool story nonetheless. And so Norgal shows up, and the old blacksmith recognizes him, and he says, Norgal, you returned. And just, I mean, look at this. I mean, how can you not love these faces and beautiful characterization? And it's a ton of fun. I think when I got it, and this is a while ago, I was kind of reading this back to back, and I enjoyed the art. I enjoyed the coloring and the perspectives and also the mood. If you're doing comics, don't forget that color and tones and the color palette is very important. I was watching lately so many movies, and in some scenes there is just like this blue and orange, or the composition, like you have a burnt out church here, and the mans are approaching from here, and then it switches the camera. Like movies and comics will tell you everything you need to know about color, composition. Let's see if they have a certain composition. Like right here in this panel, we have we call it Totale here in Germany, or a big, you know what I mean? Like we see him very small, and then we get a close up, and it's great. Like it gives us a better movement, a better understanding of where we are and what's happening. And you have to write it down, or you have to sketch it out, or you have to construct it. But I think things will come to you from looking at other stuff. I want to say stealing. I mean, maybe sometimes you steal a bit, but then as your craft gets better, I think that stuff will come to you naturally as you draw it out, as you flesh it out. Maybe movement like this will come to you naturally. Or even Andrew McLEAN probably maybe was looking at stuff and thought, man, this would be a cool pose for my comic on this page. Or maybe he was just like in his own movie or comic, and so things unfolded naturally. So Norgal joins the fight against some magical beasts, because like this court is haunted by dark magic, and Norgal and his sword do cool things. Like, this is a beautiful panel, and yeah, I love the art, the pacing. Again, I'm talking about the pacing. It takes its time to tell the story. It really does. It leaves you wondering sometimes what's going to happen, what's happening now. Like, it moves the plot from A to B, from B to C, but it's also from time to time, it brings fresh elements. You wonder what's going to happen, and it's just great fun. And yeah, issue 1, so he gets here, then he goes to another level. He needs to climb a mountain, and as you can see, the color is completely different. And here he encounters on this stony plain where he hops from stone to stone. Very beautifully made. I love the colors. There he meets these creatures made out of seemingly stone. And they, of course, want to eat him. And this book is about battle and about fighting, and it's Conan the Barbarian with some magic and great colors. Yeah, and of course, Norgal defeats them all, and I will skip a bit. And the cool thing is that new and different creatures will join against him, or will ally him or oppose him, and everyone seems to have its own agenda. And it's really great. It's a great story. It's a fun story, and I don't want to spoil too much because you will have tons of fun. And also, it makes sense. Like, the character development on this one is really cool. It's not complicated, but you can definitely relate to the motive of the people and why they are doing what they're doing. And I think, should you write a story, just put yourself into the shoes of each of your characters and think, what would I do if I was that character? What was my motivation? And yeah, and then you start plotting and scheming like the bad guys, or doing heroic stuff. And here it tells a bit of the past and very, very dramatic points. So I have to say, this comic did also move me. Like, things make sense, and then it also moved me emotionally. And that is something that is, I don't want to say hard to achieve, but not everybody achieves this. I was lately watching Dune Part 1 from Denis Villeneuve, and although it looks great, and also his Blade Runner looks great, and he has great visuals, and thematically it's all very, very dense. Sometimes it leaves me emotionally cold, or it doesn't touch my heart all the way. It was also the same with The Arrival, and yeah. So that's just my opinion. Like, but this, like, this is beautiful. Like, maybe this should be the thumbnail. It always works to have a beautiful thumbnail. And yeah, let's not make it too long. They fight many monsters. It's a bit like a game, but it's also very like Game of Thrones or a Conan the Barbarian, and it's very satisfying because in this story, at the end of this one, it's finished. It resolves the story, and it is also very satisfying. And you get also like these beautiful sketches. Maybe this should be something like this should be the thumbnail. And so this one was really great. I'm not regretting buying this. This is like really one of my favorite comics, and I couldn't wait to have part two to come out. And then I got myself part two, and I don't want to go too much into it. And it looks great. Also, like the cover for this was great. I don't know where it is, but there is a panel where there's a big tower like this, and there are some gladiator games inside of that hall. And it's great. But the comic, and this is what I don't like, switches up the character. Somehow this character is now involved, and also in the first issue there were a lot of characters and a lot of figures, but they were adding to the story of the main character, which was Norgal. And here we switched the scene to some indigenous, I don't know what it's called, but you've seen it at the beginning. And of course we see Norgal and his team, but then it's all of a sudden it's about these guys and them fighting a war against something very evil. And I don't know, maybe that's needed, but I felt a bit out of the story. Maybe I need to reread it, but it didn't get me pumped the way the first time. But the premise is cool. They enter like a dungeon, and they need to escape, and they need to fight the ruler of this dungeon, and it's like a bit of the Hunger Games, Gladiators games. But I didn't read it. Like I don't know how far I got. I got just to this point, like the middle of the book, and then I think I was bored because it's too much. I mean, I don't care about this thing. Like, why do you change up the characters or the main characters? I don't know who wrote this or who cared about this little, I want to say shithead, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't change it. Like, the comic is badass because it's about Norgal fighting evil, and yeah, and not about some, I don't know what these are. I hope you can see it now, but yeah. And also, like, I don't, the second one just felt weaker, but I have to read it all the way through and see. Maybe I'm judging it wrong. Maybe it's great, but I know that somehow something changed. It just didn't feel the same way, and I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it right now. But yeah, HEAD LOPPER, I recommend. I recommend for reading. I recommend for enjoying. And if you want to make comics, definitely also I recommend studying it. The look, the colors, the shapes, the pacing. Do it. We see us.